The world's global temperature plummets by 100 degrees Celsius and the Earth enters into an ice age era. Over a staggering 85% of the world's population die frozen, and after weeks of freezing, the world experiences a shutdown of all its infrastructure. A reporter on the news warns everyone to stay inside as the temperature continued to drop with no signs of stopping. The person was the tenant of the apartment, Han Feng. Suddenly, a female voice calls his name from outside his apartment. So is Han Feng, peeps through the hole in his door. He was surprised to see his school friend and crush Lee Hyona, a young blonde baddie with a 38 melons and crazy curves that could render any man into having salacious thoughts. And her current victim was Han Feng. Hyona was shivering in the cold, tears in her eyes, knocking on Han Feng's door. Han Feng, blushing profusely, immediately opens his door. It's already deadly cold. So is Han Feng. Ask what Hyona was doing at his place. He also tells her to come inside, reminding her that it was dangerous and freezing outside. However, upon entering midway, Hyannis suddenly grabbed the door and kissed Han Feng on the mouth. Han Feng was in a daze, and before he could understand what was going on, Hyannis started playing with her tongue, then continued to suck on Feng dry with her mouth. This continued for quite a few minutes, however, as soon as the deed was done. A bewildered Han Feng, wiping his drool from his mouth, questioned, "What's gotten into Hyona?" She kissed him the second he opened the door. Hyona, with a seductive tone, whispered that she realized Han Feng was the only one she loved all along. And that act just now was the declaration of her love. "You're the only one I'm supposed to be with." And as the saying goes, it takes a near-death experience like this crisis to see a person's true colors, to see who they really are. Someone who would be there for you no matter what. Hyona said this in a hopeful and seductive voice, rendering Han Feng speechless at those words. He couldn't believe his goddess was finally noticing him as more than just a loser. He was so shocked that he just stood there, frozen on the spot and not responding. Seeing this, Fiona gently grabbed Han Feng's hand and placed it on her 38D bouncy melons, then whispered in Han Feng's ear, telling him that if he didn't believe her, he should feel her heartbeat. Also, she continued that she was willing to do anything, and I mean anything that Han Feng wanted anything. This sudden revelation shook Han Feng's world. His heart was beating faster than his brain could comprehend what was happening. Is this really happening? Or is it all a dream? As Han Feng was lost in his thoughts, Fiona decided to make the first move herself. So with her hands seductively placed on Han Feng's ass, her leg was also placed in between his legs as well. Fiona then started to slowly rub Han Feng's hot iron rod over and over again. At that moment, Han Feng started to vibrate like an old tractor's engine. His heart felt like it was about to explode at any given second. He finally replied that Fiona had no idea how much her words meant to him, and as he tried to continue, Fiona gently grabbed his face, whispering and insisting he needn't say anything. She knows and understands his true feelings for her, and now Han Feng knows hers as well. She requested Han Feng to close his eyes because she had a gift for him. As soon as Han Feng did, someone grabbed the door and with all the might the person could muster, he smashed Han Feng's head. Blood splattered everywhere, and his blood continued to gush out from Han Feng's head. Iona and her real boyfriend checked out the supplies Han Feng had in his apartment. Meanwhile, Han Feng, lying on the deadly cold floor, started to go numb. He was unable to move his arms, his entire body, and slowly his vision became blurry. He couldn't believe this was the gift Iona was referring to. I mean, how the fuck is this a gift? And to make matters even worse, Iona and her boyfriend decided to get all nasty right in front of him. This was the reward Iona was going to receive for her Oscar-worthy performance earlier, her boyfriend said. Han Feng couldn't believe what he was seeing. To him, they were like devils. Han Feng swore that if there was a next life, he will never be a bootlicker again. Then suddenly something strange happened. Through the darkness, Han Feng saw a flicker of light ahead of him, and somehow he was being pulled towards it. As he got closer, the light began to shine brighter and brighter. Han Feng felt its warmth too. He extended his hand, reaching for it. He thought it was the path which will lead him to heaven. However, as soon as Han Feng touched the light, it turned red, and suddenly Han Feng's entire soul started to burn. Then his soul started shredding into pieces, his screams echoing the silent abyss. And finally, after what felt like an eternity, Han Feng woke up covered in sweat and completely exhausted. The first thing Han Feng saw and immediately felt was the warm sunlight coming through the window. Where am I? Han Feng was in a state of confusion as he continued to stare outside through his apartment window. And just like that, 30 minutes passed by like a bullet. Han Feng stood up, went to his balcony, and once again he continued to bask in the warmth of the sun. He never thought in a million years that he would ever feel this warmth again. Han Feng had checked the date. It was June 28th, and based on his memory from his previous life, the apocalypse onset was on July 15th, 17 days from now. And although he was supposed to be dead for some mysterious reason, he came back in time, just enough time before the apocalypse. This also meant he'd been reborn. His desperate wish was granted in his final moments. But enough about that. He thought there was something strange happening with Han Feng's body, specifically his hand. Ever since he woke up, his right hand was continuously glowing red, and he had no clue what it was or how to make it stop. According to Han Feng, it also didn't hurt or anything. It just felt a little bit warm, and as it doesn't seem to do anything. Han Feng thought he was imagining things at the beginning, but then in the middle of his thoughts, a heavy sneeze came out of him. When he opened his eyes, his red glowing hand had changed to green. What's going on? In addition, the green glow became bigger and bigger, freaking the shit out of him. Wasn't it troublesome enough that his right hand started glowing red, but now it was green? Seriously, what the actual fuck is going on? Han Feng became frustrated and confused with the beams of light shooting out of his hand. He wondered how science could justify his glowing, color-changing right hand. Soon after, the green glow shrunk in size, and it seemed like Han Feng could change the intensity of the green glow with his will, something he couldn't do with the red glow. But after a few minutes of failing to snuff out his glowing right hand, another serious issue came up. He immediately sat on his sofa as his legs gave out. Han Feng started feeling like all his energy was leaving his body. He felt completely drained. Wait, is this because of the green light? Growing more and more frustrated, Han Feng shook his hand violently, trying to stop it from glowing. Damn it, what the hell is this thing? But suddenly his eyes widened when a thought came to his mind. Hang on a sec. What if I got a superpower? You know, like a cheat skill in Manhwas that the protagonist of the story always seems to get. Well, no shit, my friend. With this newfound theory, Han Feng grabbed a kitchen knife, thinking if he held a weapon, some reaction might happen, but nothing happened. Oh, come on. Seriously. But wait, something did happen as his stomach started to growl, making him feel like he would pass out any moment if he didn't eat something. Feeling defeated, he went to his fridge, and as he opened it to find something to eat, he realized that the entire fridge was empty. This was bad. If I don't eat something soon, I'm going to pass out and probably die out of hunger. But at that very moment, Han Feng noticed a jar full of roasted soybeans. He remembered that it was a leftover snacks he had from before the apocalypse, and although it wasn't exactly a full meal, he was desperate. I mean, what else could he do? He decided to eat it first and then go to the supermarket later. Han Feng slowly grabbed a soybean and tossed it into his mouth. Immediately after, a loud boom happened. A second after, it was the soybean which had exploded in Han Feng's face, making the area all seem like a scene from a comic book. As the smoke cleared, there was fresh soybean plant in Han Feng's mouth. Confused, he pulled the mysterious plant out of his mouth and noticed it was a fresh plant of a soybean. Also, he wasn't feeling tired or drained anymore, and the green light was gone too. Did it have something to do with the soybeans? Now, Han Feng was really confused. He plucked one soybean from the plant in his hand, and upon opening it, he was utterly stunned to see fresh soybeans inside. So this is my power. What an incredible discovery. I need to study it some more. But right now I have bigger fish to fry. I need to stock up on supplies before the world ends.